Welcome back to Horoscope TV. Imagine dropping a massive roaring race car engine into a really reliable, heavy-duty tractor.
Oh, wow, that is quite the visual.
Right. But honestly, that is exactly what the cosmos is doing to you this week. We are looking directly at you, our Taurus listeners, for the period of May 18 to May 24.
Yeah, this is a massive week for Taurus.
It really is. This week brings this incredible surge of personal power, but also some very sudden changes that are going to test the foundation you have been building.
Definitely. The charts are showing a lot of movement.
So you need to tune in right now because we are going to analyze exactly how you can harness this massive energy boost, plus how to lock in some serious financial security and, well, avoid getting completely tripped up by a few tricky illusions hiding in the days ahead.
There are absolutely a few traps to watch out for.
Exactly. So I am sitting here with our resident expert to map out the astrological charts so you are perfectly prepared. Are you ready to get started?
I am absolutely ready. The astro charts for this week are showing a level of tension and release that we just do not see very often.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with massive shifts in momentum here.
I want to jump right into that tension, actually, because we have to begin with the biggest foundational shift of the week.
Right, the Mars transit.
Yeah. On Monday, May 18, the planet Mars enters Taurus. Now, anyone who follows astrology knows Mars is the planet of physical drive, action, and just pushing forward.
He wants to go fast. He's pure fire.
Exactly. But I want to dig into the mechanics here. Taurus is an earth sign, right? It is grounded, slow, and steady. So Mars entering Taurus feels like a massive contradiction.
It is a profound contradiction, yeah. And, that is exactly where the power comes from.
Wait, how does that actually work?
Well, in astrological terms, Mars is actually a pretty challenging position when it enters Taurus. Like I said, Mars wants to sprint, but Taurus wants to stroll. Mars wants to break things, and Taurus wants to build things. So when you put that fiery, aggressive planet into a solid, unmoving Earth sign, you do not get a quick explosion. You get torque.
Torque. Oh, I like that. Like a
Right.
heavy machine that can pull a massive amount of weight slowly rather than a sports car just peeling out at a stoplight.
Exactly. It is a slow, grinding, unstoppable force. For you as a Taurus, this is the absolute biggest news of the week.
So they're getting a huge energy boost.
Yes, you are receiving a massive boost of physical energy, courage, and personal power. If you have been facing obstacles over the last few months,
Like things that just would not budge.
right, whether that is a stalled project at work or maybe a personal goal you just gave up on,
Yeah.
May 18 is the day you finally have the raw horsepower to push past them.
Okay, but with that much raw torque hitting on Monday, isn't there a physical danger here?
How do you mean?
I mean, if you suddenly feel like you can push a boulder up a hill, the temptation is to just go out and push every single boulder you see and completely burn out.
Oh, absolutely. That is the exact trap the charts are warning about. Because this Mars transit gives you more vitality than you have felt in a very long time.
Which is great, but
Right, it is an excellent week to start moving your body, lifting weights, doing heavy yard work, completely cleaning out a garage. That energy needs a physical outlet. But the danger is muscle strain and physical burnout.
right, because if you put that giant engine in the tractor, the engine can handle it, but the axles might snap if you push it too hard.
That perfectly explains the physical risk, yeah. You still have the physical limits of your everyday body. When we analyze the astrological charts, we see this really clear clash between the fiery action of Mars and the pacing you actually need.
Because Mars wants everything done right this second.
Exactly. To avoid pulling a muscle or just exhausting yourself by Wednesday, pacing is crucial. You have to use this new courage for calculated moves, not reckless ones.
So what does a calculated move look like in a practical sense? Say someone wants to completely landscape their backyard this week.
Well, a calculated move means channeling that Mars energy into the planning phase first. You sit down and say, I have the power to dig up this entire yard, but I'm going to map it out and do it in sections over the next 7 days.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you use the courage of Mars to start the tough, intimidating tasks, but you use your natural Taurus wisdom to finish them safely.
That makes a lot of sense. You just control the burn. And speaking of things that are hard to control, we have to look at how this new raw energy is going to be tested.
Because you are not just operating in a vacuum this week.
Right. The charts show that sudden, shocking changes in your daily life and career are coming right at you.
Yes, the sky is extremely busy. We have a major theme of sudden disruption running parallel to this slow, steady power you are building.
Let's look at the timeline. On May 18, the exact same day Mars gives you that new engine, The planet Mercury lines up with the planet Uranus.
Which is a spark of genius, really.
Yeah, it brings sudden, brilliant ideas that could completely change your career path. You might think of a clever way to solve a very old problem at your job, right? But then on May 22, the sun lines up with Uranus, and this brings a very sudden, surprising event to your life.
Yes, that is the disruption.
So the general advice is that a Taurus must try to stay flexible and embrace unexpected changes instead of resisting them.
We need to look closely at Uranus here to understand why this is happening. Uranus is the planet of sudden awakenings, lightning bolts, and total disruption. It shakes the ground.
Okay, wait. I have to challenge this right here.
Sure, go ahead.
A Taurus naturally hates unpredictability. Routine is comforting. The ground shaking is literally a Taurus's worst nightmare.
It really is.
So telling a Taurus to, just stay flexible when Uranus throws a surprise event at them on May 22 feels a bit like telling a fish to try breathing air. How do they actually stay flexible without completely panicking?
That is a very fair point, and honestly, just stay flexible is terrible advice if we do not explain the how.
Right, because it sounds impossible for them.
To understand how a Taurus handles this, we have to look at the progression of the week. Look at what happens first. On Monday, May 18th, Mercury, which is the planet of the mind and communication, connects with Uranus.
Okay.
This happens in your mind first. Your brain works at double speed. You look at an old problem at work, and a lightning bolt of genius hits you. You instantly see the solution.
So you prove to yourself early on that sudden changes can actually be a good thing.
Exactly. The universe gives you a positive disruption on Monday to prepare you for the bigger disruption on Friday.
Oh, that is clever.
Right. On May 22, when the sun, which represents your core identity and ego, bumps into Uranus, the disruption is external. Management changes. A project is canceled. A schedule is completely rewritten.
Okay, so the big earthquake.
Yes. But the way you stay flexible is by looking back at Monday. You remind yourself that a sudden shift is just another puzzle you can solve.
It is about changing your reaction to the earthquake.
Right. You do not plant your feet in the dirt and refuse to move. Instead of fighting the change, you take that new Mars quirk we talked about and ask yourself, how can I pull this new situation in a direction that works for me?
I love that. You are taking the power back instead of just being a victim to the surprise.
Exactly.
And it looks like the cosmos gives you the perfect tool to ground yourself right after that chaotic surprise hits. On May 23, the first quarter moon in Virgo arrives.
Which is such a relief.
Yeah, the charts show you will feel highly motivated to organize your desk, refine your daily tasks, and take great pride in doing your job perfectly.
That first quarter moon in Virgo is a vital piece of the puzzle this week. Virgo is an earth sign, just like Taurus. It shares your language of practicality and order.
So it basically brings order out of the chaos that Uranus just caused.
Precisely. Let's trace the energy Friday. Throws a wild curveball at you. You might feel totally spun out. But then Saturday arrives, and the moon in Virgo gives you the quiet, detailed focus to clean up your physical workspace. For a Taurus, physical reality is deeply connected to mental health.
Oh, for sure.
You use the physical organization, throwing away old papers, rewriting your to-do list, organizing your tools to soothe your mind. It puts you back in control.
Nothing feels better than a clean desk when your head is spinning.
Exactly.
Now, we have organized the desk, and we have sparked new career ideas. Let's talk about how those ideas translate directly into your bank account, because the charts show some major movements for your finances this week.
The financial astro data for this week is incredibly strong. It is a story of intense focus leading to a fateful payoff.
The major shift happens on May 21st. The sun leaves Taurus and enters Gemini.
Yes.
The charts say this shifts your focus from personal goals to material needs, income, and personal wealth. It helps you see totally new ways to make money and manage your budget.
It does.
But I want to understand the mechanics of this shift. Why does moving into Gemini suddenly make you care about your budget?
It is about moving from the first house of the zodiac to the second house. When the sun is in Taurus, your sign, the spotlight is on your identity. Who are you? What do you want?
Okay, so very self-focused.
Right. But when the sun moves out of your sign and into Gemini, it enters the area of your chart that governs resources, personal value, and liquid cash.
So the spotlight literally moves off of your face and points directly at your wallet.
That is exactly what happens. Gemini is an air sign. It is curious, adaptable, and constantly gathering information. So when the sun shines through Gemini into your money sector, your mind opens up to multiple streams of income.
You stop looking at your finances in a rigid, traditional way.
Exactly, and you start looking for clever Gemini-style workarounds.
And the charts show you get some powerful help doing that deep digging. On May 19, Mercury makes a specific angle to Pluto.
Which is very intense.
Yeah, this brings deep, intense focus to financial research. You might uncover a hidden opportunity to safely invest your cash. Tell me about this angle between Mercury and Pluto.
This angle is called a trine, which is a 120-degree separation between the planets. A trine is like an open door. The energy flows perfectly without any friction.
Okay.
Mercury is your intellect, and Pluto is the planet of the underworld, the deep beneath the surface reality and hidden wealth.
So when the door opens between your mind and the hidden depths,
You get X-ray vision. If you are reading over a contract, reviewing your bank statements, or researching a new savings account on May 19, you will spot the fine print that everyone else missed.
oh, wow.
Yeah, you will see the hidden fee, or you will find the hidden tax break. This is the day to do the quiet, intense research.
That makes perfect sense, and the momentum builds from there, right? On May 22, you have the perfect day for a serious business meeting.
Yes, because Mercury makes a helpful connection to Saturn.
Right, which means you will speak with authority and command great respect from your peers.
This connection is a sextile, a 60-degree angle. It is a very friendly, cooperative energy. Saturn is the planet of rules, boundaries, and authority.
So it gives your voice some weight.
Exactly. With Mercury, your voice cooperating with Saturn, your words carry immense weight. When you speak up in a meeting on May 22, you will not sound excited or nervous. You will sound like the boss.
If someone needs to ask for a raise or, lay down a boundary with a difficult client, that is the day to do it.
Absolutely. You will command respect because you will sound completely grounded and realistic.
And all of this leads to a very big moment over the weekend. On May 24, a very lucky aspect happens. Mars makes a friendly angle to the true node.
This is a huge deal.
The charts say this brings a fateful chance to increase your security. The advice is to trust your instincts when buying or selling property during this fortunate weekend. What exactly is the true node, and why is this so fateful?
Well, the true node is not actually a planet. It is a mathematical point in the sky that represents destiny, future growth, and the path you're meant to walk toward in this lifetime.
Oh, interesting.
So when Mars, which is currently giving you that massive torque and courage, makes a positive connection to your destiny point, your actions have long-lasting consequences.
So it is not just a random lucky day. It is a day to lay down bricks for the future.
Yes. Let's analyze the chronological flow of your week because it is beautiful.
Yeah.
On May 19th, you use that Pluto X-ray vision to do deep financial research.
Right.
On May 22, you use the Saturn authority to negotiate or present your findings. And then on May 24, all that preparation pays off when Mars gives you the courage to take a fateful action.
Like buying a house.
Exactly. Buying a house, signing a long-term lease, or even just making a significant purchase that improves the security of your home. These moves are highly favored because they align perfectly with your true path.
That is a phenomenal setup for long-term security. But while your career and finances are getting locked down, the focus also turns to your emotional world.
Yes, we cannot forget about relationships.
And looking at the charts, matters of the heart have some incredibly beautiful highs and some very confusing fogs this week.
The romance charts are complex. We are dealing with two very different versions of reality here.
Let's start with the good reality. Tuesday, May 19th, is incredibly busy for your heart and mind. First, Venus connects with Mars.
Which is lovely.
Yeah, this makes you feel highly attractive. It creates a perfect balance of sweet romance and physical desire. Sounds like a wonderful day for a date night.
It really is. Venus is your ruling planet, so wherever Venus goes, you feel it deeply. Venus represents attraction, beauty, and what you value. Mars represents your physical drive.
So you combine those two.
And you get the absolute best of both worlds. You feel charming and soft, but you also feel bold and confident. You have a glow about you, and people are going to respond to that energy.
On top of that, Venus enters the sign of Cancer on the very same day. The charts say this softens your communication so you speak from the heart.
Yes, it really brings out the softer side.
Also, Mercury connects with Neptune, bringing peaceful, healing energy to the mind. This is great for meditating or listening to calming music.
The shift of Venus into Cancer is deeply comforting for a Taurus. Cancer is a water sign, which naturally nourishes your earth element.
So it feels very safe.
Exactly. It brings out a very protective, nurturing side to your love life. You do not want a loud, flashy date. You want to cook a beautiful meal for someone or have a quiet, deeply meaningful conversation where you feel totally safe.
Right.
And with Mercury and Neptune adding that peaceful energy, anxiety just washes away.
It sounds idyllic. I mean, it sounds like a perfect romantic movie.
It does.
But then we hit the danger zone later in the week.
Yes, we absolutely must warn you about Friday, May 22.
The charts show Venus clashes with Neptune. This is a tricky aspect that makes you see what you want to see instead of the truth. You might idealize a partner too much or feel deeply disappointed when reality sets in.
We need to analyze the geometry here. A clash between Venus and Neptune is usually a square, a 90-degree angle. Squares create intense friction.
Okay.
Neptune is the planet of dreams, spirituality, and unconditional love. But its shadow side is fog, illusion, and deception.
So when Venus, your planet of love, hits the Neptune fog at 90 miles an hour,
You completely lose your visibility. You cannot see the road, and you cannot see the person standing in front of you clearly. You project your own fantasy onto them.
Oh, that is dangerous.
Very. You might look at someone who is totally emotionally unavailable and convince yourself that they are a wounded bird who just needs your love to heal. You ignore massive glaring red flags because the fantasy feels so good.
wait a second, I have to ask about this timeline.
Sure.
On Tuesday, May 19, you are starring in this perfect romantic movie with Venus in Cancer. But by Friday, May 22, you hit the Neptune fog and realize the script might be fake.
That is the risk.
How does a listener know if Tuesday was even real? Should they just avoid dating entirely this week?
Well, that is the tricky part of navigating Neptune. Tuesday's connection between Venus and Mars is real. The physical attraction and the warmth you feel are genuine.
Okay, so it wasn't all a lie.
No, you should absolutely enjoy the romance on the 19th, soak it up, have the great date. But our strongest advice is to compartmentalize that feeling.
Keep it contained.
Do not let a great date on Tuesday turn into a life-altering commitment on Friday.
So enjoy the dinner, but don't give them the key to your apartment.
Exactly. If someone asks you to move in together on Friday the 22nd, or if they ask for a massive loan, or if they make a promise that sounds way too good to be true, you must hit the brakes.
Just pause.
Say you need to think about it over the weekend. The fog will lift in a few days. Once the planetary angles separate, you will get your common sense back, and you will be very glad you waited to see the truth clearly.
That is a crucial warning. And speaking of taking a step back, the charts also have a quick self-care reminder for your physical and emotional health.
Yes, very important this week.
When the moon enters Leo on May 21, you need to remember to drink plenty of water and get extra sleep.
The moon in Leo is very fiery and dramatic. For a steady earth sign like Taurus, that fire can literally dry you out and drain your emotional reserves.
So it is just exhausting.
It really is. Protecting your physical body by staying hydrated and resting is the best way to protect your emotional boundaries on Thursday.
That ties perfectly into our next topic. Navigating all this romance, money, and sudden change requires the right team.
Definitely.
The planets clearly show who will help you and who will drive you completely crazy this week. Let's look at your allies and your adversaries.
Finding the right people to surround yourself with is always important, but when you have explosive Uranus energy and tricky Neptune fog in the same week, your social circle becomes your lifeline.
Let's start with the positive. Your absolute best match this week is Virgo.
A great pairing.
The charts say your connection is incredibly strong right now. You share an earth element bond that makes you feel very safe. A Virgo deeply admires your new Mars motivation.
We mentioned earlier that Virgo is an earth sign. Earth understands earth. Virgo values hard work, practicality, and details.
So they get what you are trying to do.
Exactly. When a Virgo looks at you this week and sees that massive new Mars engine roaring, they are not threatened by it. They are inspired by it. They will be your biggest cheerleader because they know you are going to use that power to build something real.
And the timing is perfect. When Mercury connects with Saturn on May 22, it's easy for you and your Virgo friend to discuss long-term goals and get practical advice you can actually use.
Yes, they are so helpful right now.
And then on May 23, that first quarter moon in Virgo makes it the perfect time for both of you to build things and make solid plans.
It is the ultimate collaboration. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication and details. So when you need to negotiate that business deal or organize your life after the Uranus disruption, the Virgo in your life can hand you the exact blueprint you need.
Wow.
They provide the structure, you provide the torque. You are an unstoppable team right now.
I love the idea of having a designated builder by your side. On the other hand, we have an energy you need to avoid.
Yes, the adversary.
Your worst match this week is Leo. The charts clearly state you should avoid getting close to a Leo right now. The planets show major friction and stress. Why is this pairing so toxic this specific week?
To understand the friction, we look at the natural geometry of the zodiac wheel. Taurus and Leo are naturally squared to each other. We talked about squares earlier. They create a 90-degree clash.
Right.
You are fixed earth. Leo is fixed fire. Fixed means you both are incredibly stubborn, and neither of you wants to compromise.
And what specifically triggers the clash this week?
It is a combination of factors. First, when the Sun connects with Uranus on May 22, bringing those sudden changes you hate, Leo might act completely unpredictable.
Oh boy.
Leo loves drama and excitement. When a sudden change happens, they might lean into the chaos, which ruins your desperate need for peace and quiet.
The charts also mention that with Venus in Cancer on May 19, Leo brings needy emotions. They demand constant attention and praise, which drains your energy.
Leos are ruled by the Sun. They naturally want the spotlight. But remember your focus this week. You are doing deep financial research, you are dealing with surprise career shifts, and you are trying to pace your physical energy.
You just don't have the time.
You simply do not have the extra bandwidth to stroke their ego or manage their theatrics.
Furthermore, because Mars is in Taurus this week, making you feel very powerful, you are naturally going to be more stubborn than usual. You will refuse to bow to their demands, which leads to loud arguments.
When a Taurus digs their heels in with Mars behind them, they turn into a brick wall. A Leo will roar and push and demand that you participate in their drama, and you will just stand there and refuse to engage.
That sounds exhausting.
It is a massive waste of your precious new Mars energy. Do not use your torque to fight a fire. Just walk away.
It sounds like Virgo is the friend helping you calmly build a solid brick wall, while Leo is the friend throwing a loud, dramatic party on your front lawn when you just want to sleep.
That is a perfect way to analyze the elemental energies at play. Your current need for steady, practical growth aligns flawlessly with Virgo.
Right.
Leo's need for attention directly threatens the personal power and focus you are trying to build. Keep the builders close this week and tell the party throwers you are busy.
We want to make sure you are fully equipped for the days ahead, so we have gathered all the specific lucky tools you can use to maximize the week's potential. Let's open up your weekly toolkit.
These little details are excellent ways to subconsciously align yourself with the positive flow of the astro charts.
Your color of the week is green.
Green is the classic, powerful color for Taurus. It represents money, nature, the earth, and steady growth.
It makes a lot of sense for this week.
Since locking down financial security and engaging in physical outdoor work are huge themes for you this week, surrounding yourself with green helps ground you.
Okay.
Wear it to that important meeting on the 22nd, or keep a green plant on your newly organized desk to soothe your mind.
Your lucky numbers are 2, 6, 18, 24, 38, and 42. And your best dates to take action are May 18 and May 23.
Keep a close eye out for those numbers as you navigate the week.
You know, since May 18 is a huge action day when you get that new Mars engine, and 18 is also one of the lucky numbers, that day just feels completely loaded with power.
It absolutely is. And notice that 24 is also a lucky number, which matches up perfectly with that fateful weekend of May 24 to make property or financial decisions.
Oh, I see.
The universe often leaves breadcrumbs. You might see the number 24 on a house listing you really like, or notice you are signing a contract on page 6.
That is cool.
Look for these numbers when you are doing that deep financial research or rewriting your budget after the first quarter moon on the 23rd. It confirms you are on the right path.
This has been such a powerful look into the mechanics of the days ahead. As we wrap up, what is the final thought you want to leave with our Taurus listeners?
I want you to think deeply about the tension we discussed today. If Mars is giving you the physical power to break through obstacles, and Uranus is forcing sudden changes to your path, what if the biggest obstacle standing in your way right now isn't an external problem, but your own stubborn desire to keep things exactly the way they are?
Wow, that really changes the entire perspective on the earthquake. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And to our audience, thank you for listening to the episode on Horoscope TV. We love exploring the stars with you and helping you navigate these massive energies. Please be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified when the next episode is available. Have a wonderful, powerful week.